Hello, Paul here. Just want to make a quick video on how to get started with microgreens. So this is for someone who's just begun or doesn't have a clue, but they have an interest and they just want to get started. So do you need all this stuff, all this fancy equipment and all this to get started? No, you don't. No, you just need a couple of basic things. Probably maybe €80 would be enough to get you started. So €80, once you get started, you're going to quickly make that back in nutrition and the best quality food you can have. So we'll say you're starting off with nothing and you're wondering, how do I get started? Now, I did do another video about what microgreens are, but just to quickly recap, microgreens are herbs, vegetables and some flowers. They're grown just for the first couple of weeks of their life, and after which you just cut the whole top off and it's ready to eat. Now, this is broccoli. If these plants were left grow fully, they would grow into a normal broccoli plant. But it would take you 3.5 to 4 months, and it's going to be very weather dependent, and there's going to be a lot of stuff going on outside that is kind of out of your control. So microgreens you can grow indoors. You don't need land. All you need is a shelf in your house, even in your bedroom, and you can grow the best nutritional salad, veg, whatever you want to call it. And you can put it in your sandwiches. You can just make it a big part of your diet. You can eat a lot of it. The nutrients in this broccoli would be much higher than the fully grown broccoli plant. Growing microgreens is not difficult. You can do it. All you need is an interest. So there's broccoli that is grown and is ready for harvest in less than 10 days. So you want to just get started. You have nothing. The first thing you're going to need are trays. Preferably thin enough, not too deep. Okay, you don't want to be filling them up. If they're deep and you fill them up, if they're that deep and you fill them up this much compost, then it's going to be hard to harvest, because you want to run the knife over the bottom, not getting the medium but getting the stem. So you're going to need 2 types of trays. In Ireland here, I use my supplier is Fruit Hill Farm. If it's in a different country you'll find a supplier. Just search microgreen trays. You're going to need trays with holes and trays without holes. One goes into the other. You put compost in the top here, and then you can feed and water in the reservoir underneath. So trays aren't that expensive. As I say, you go online, you search microgreen trays, you'll have them in a couple of days. So you need trays. The next thing you need is a medium, which is just your compost or cocoa coir or a mix of the two, or people use mats, hemp mats. They use all sorts. If you're starting off, I suppose the best thing I can tell you is just go down to your local garden centre. Preferably try and get an organic compost. Just go with that. So you got trays. Now you've got compost. Now you need seeds. You should be able to get seeds handy enough. Just search up microgreen seeds. You should be getting bags that are maybe 250 or 500 grams. These tiny little bags that are overpriced, don't bother with them. If the seeds seem very expensive, then have a look for a different supplier. This is a big bag of microgreen seeds. This could be €15 or something like that, and you will get a lot of trays out of this one bag. So you have your trays, you put your compost in your tray, you have your seeds, which will be going on top there. So let's call that the first phase 1 of your microgreens. So that's kind of one section. The next thing is a light. Like, some people talk about growing microgreens on windowsills, and then I have tunnels here myself, but relying on weather, especially here in Ireland, is just a waste of time, because it's bright, then it's dark, it's hot, then it's cold. Window sills can get really, really hot, and then really cold. So you need a light, and you need to be thinking the temperature in the room as well a bit. Microgreens love room temperature, so they're ideal to grow in your house. That's what makes them special. They're quick, they're easy, and you can grow them in your house. So the lights, we all know electricity is crazy expensive these days, so maybe it's not for you, depends on where you are, but you wouldn't want to be getting any high wattage lights. So a microgreen light, I suppose it shouldn't really be more than 50 watts. And less than 50 watts, like these panels here, these are LED panels, and these are office lighting. They're not expensive, they're pretty cheap, and they're low wattage. So they don't cost a whole pile to run. So you get a light, or you can get a different one. This is a fluorescent one. There's all different sorts of lights, but I suppose the lowest wattage now is going to be LEDs, like office LEDs. There are other lights that you might use for succulents and things like that. To maintain them, you might want a bit more wattage, but not to think about that now. All you need is a basic light that has daylight temperature, and daylight is kind of white, whereas you're not going to be getting the warm light you'll be getting for your living room, the lamp that's kind of warm yellow. You're getting daylight. That's what you want for these plants, that kind of shade. So one of those lights, I mean, they're like less than 30 euros, 20 euros, I think they're around 20. So you get a light, so you have your tray, you've got your medium, you've got your seeds, then you get a light. I suppose the next thing you would need is a timer, just a normal timer. They're like €2 or €3, and that's just going to switch your light on and off. Your light is going to be on for around 16 hours a day and off for around 8. So you can make it go off when you're going to sleep. It's on the rest of the time. Very simple to set up. Once you set it up, it'll kind of, that's it. It'll just switch on and off itself. I would advise you to think about getting a fan. So a normal fan, an oscillating fan that moves. You should really have one of them in the room. Again, they're around 20 euros. So they're really not expensive. So all in all, you could have all that stuff for well less than 100 euros. And for that 100 euros, what you're going to get is like the highest, most tastiest food grown by you in your own house. So it's really worth doing. When you do it a couple of times, it just becomes like you do it without thinking. You get up in the morning, you just walk past the microgreens, and you might give them a cup of feed or water. I use an organic seaweed feed. So maybe before you go to work, literally it will take you less than a minute to go in, everything's all right, put your feed in, and then off to work you go. Maybe when you get back from work, then you'll feed again. That's it. So now they won't, I have to say, like, they'll be germinating. You can see I have a tent back there. You don't need to have a tent. You can just put them in a dark area of the room. They might be germinating for about 3 or 4 days. After that, then they might go under lights. So they might be under lights for about 5 days. So all in all, you're going to be growing from the seed to your plate, your sandwich, all your meals. Put microgreens in for nutrition. It takes less than 10 days for broccoli. So really, if you have any interest in nutrition or becoming more sustainable, providing yourself with food, then microgreens are the way to go. Trust me, it's not hard. Once you can do one tray, you can do 10 trays if you want. there is such a selection of different microgreens. So if there's specifically a kind of a nutrient that you want to up your intake in, you can just look at the microgreen and say, right, that is high in a certain nutrient. This is amaranth. Amaranth is high in lysine, and that's great for hair growth and all sorts of things. So if you say, right, I'm not going to go to the chemist, or I'm not going to go to the shop and try and get lysine in a cap, you can grow it and you can be eating it. So there is so many advantages of growing microgreens. Right, I've gone past 10 minutes, so you're probably falling asleep. Please, look, I do 3 things here. Mainly, I do microgreens, I grow microgreens, I'm a beekeeper, and I grow ornamental plants. So it all kind of started with plants. They're all kind of related to each other, I think. Plants, bees, microgreens. But if you have any interest in any of them, please follow my channel, and I'll be putting up a lot more videos. I'm just getting started. I'm still on a shitty Huawei camera, but I'll be upgrading that soon. So please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.